Hello and welcome to Mrs. Pam Reads. You can see based on the time of day, I guess it's this side, we're going to be dealing with a little bit of ray of sunshine. That's okay. So today we are continuing in our story, Zoo, by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge. Now let me get to the beginning here. We are going to be book 1, chapter 28. Book 2, chapter 28. And in the last video, Oz discovered ants, terrible giant African biting ants. And he found a woman in the river clinging to a rock that was about to be attacked by crocodiles. So he managed some various things, happenstance, and he saved her. I don't think we even know what her name is yet, but that is where we are. So chapter 20, I'm very close to the computer and I have my legs up on the table. And so every time I move, it's bumping the computer. Okay. Chapter 28. We half jogged the rest of the way back to camp. It took us a little over an hour in silence, trying to get comfortable here. In silence, the woman followed, still somewhat out to lunch in her brain, off somewhere else. It was late afternoon now, verging on gloaming, what photographers call the golden hour. The sinking African sun was huge above the dark horizon, hanging there like a ball of burning blood. Interesting. Bats had come out, flittering, swooping, and diving to catch insects. The world was beginning to chatter with twilight noises. Find some dry clothes and get changed, I said, guiding her into the first of the camp's platform tents. We're not out of danger yet. I'm going to need your help barricading this place before nightfall. After I left her, the first thing I did was look for another gun. I couldn't find one, not in any of the other tents or the storage container, not anywhere. So I went to the next item on my priority list. I headed straight for the camp's centrally located bar and dining area and cracked the seal on a bottle of 12-year-old Glenlivet for medical reasons. I poured some on my smarting arms and legs and took a swig. So that's from the ant bites. I was trickling scotch down my back when I heard the unmistakable mumbling drone of a plane. Thank God. I ran out onto the little road that led to the airstrip and waved my arms as a single-engine plane buzzed low over the camp. The plane waggled its wings in response as it flew past. It cut a wide arc around the camp and came circling back. As it roared overhead again, something fell from its window and landed in the reeds beside the airstrip. I searched thrashingly in the reeds and found it. It was a note crumpled around a stone. Staff informed us of situation. Need to check on camp further upriver, the note said. Back in 20 minutes. I jogged back to the bar. Maybe we weren't dead after all. I'd switched the Glenlivet for a bottle of something when the woman came in carrying a bag. She was wearing fresh khakis and a faded white polo, but she was still filthy, scratched up, hair bedraggled, muddy, wet. Was that a plane? She asked. Yeah, I said from behind the bar, unwinding the wire cage around the cork. They saw us and dropped a note saying they'll be back soon. I thumbed out the cork. It popped and hit the drum-tight inner wall of the tent. The bottle smoked and white foam cascaded over my fingers like a science fair volcano. I slurped champagne off my wrist and took a swig. Viva la being out of here in 20 minutes, I said, offering her the bottle. 20 minutes, she said, her eyes brightening with panic. But we need to get out of here now. I looked at her hands. They were shaking like a machine about to break. I put the bottle on the bar and walked around to her. It's okay, I said. We're going to be okay, miss. My name is Chloe. Chloe Signet, she said. She slumped and gripped the counter with one hand. She began to look sick, the color draining from her face. Listen, Chloe, I said, guiding her onto one of the bar stools. Her thin shoulders were shaking. I tried to rub them, but the muscles under her skin were so tensely knotted, it was like massaging sponge rubber. You've been through hell, but you're okay now. I promise you, nothing's going to happen now. She didn't reply. Her color wasn't getting better. Come on, Chloe, I said, stay with me. Can you talk to me? Who are you? Were you with the safari that was attacked? Were you on vacation? No, I'm a tourist. I'm a scientist. Population ecology. Oh, not a tourist. I'm a scientist. The words came out of her in a rapid flutter. Talking seemed to help, at least. Our group came from the École Polytechnique in Paris. That's an impressive institution. École Polytechnique is basically the French MIT. Female biologists I knew actually didn't look like ballerinas. They tended to favor Morrissey t-shirts and combat boots. Have you seen anyone else? Chloe said. I was with two colleagues, Jean and Arthur. No, I'm sorry, I said. You're the only person I've seen besides some Botswanan cooks who threatened us with machetes and the guy I came in with, and he's dead. She shook her head a bit and bit her lip as she stared glassy-eyed at the floor. Why were you here? I said. A field trip? Yes, she said, nodding. We were collecting data on migratory birds at the Moriam Game Reserve. We came here to the Delta 2 days ago. The lions attacked at dusk, the day before last. They fell from a tree. When I heard your truck, I climbed down and headed for the sound. I was wading back across the river when I saw the crocodiles and climbed onto that rock and then just stayed there waiting for them to go. She closed her eyes and took a shivery breath. When she opened them again, I suddenly realized I had been wrong about her. She wasn't just good looking. There was something else, something austere and regal about her face. She was beautiful. And you are, she said, an American reporter, a documentarian. My name is Jackson Oz, I said. I came here to document aberrant behavior in lions. I got a tip that the lions in Botswana were acting weird from a guy I know. Well, knew, Abe Bindix, who guides safaris here, or did. His brother ran this camp, but he'd been out of contact for days, and we came to check on him. We were searching for you when the lions attacked us today. I escaped, but Abe died. There was nothing I could do. Before I knew what was happening, Chloe softly took my hand in hers. She leaned forward and gave me a soft kiss on both cheeks. Thank you so much for what you did, she said, starting to tear up as she continued to hold my hand. I was so tired. I was in despair. If you hadn't come along right then, I don't know if I would have lived. Well, you're here now, I said. I found myself wanting another brush of her lips. I squeezed her hand back, swiped the champagne bottle from the bar, and offered it to her. You made it. We both did. So you're not a documentarian. What are you? She asked. I'm actually a scientist too, a biologist. From Columbia University? Yes, I said. How'd you know? She took a swig of champagne. It was written on your underwear. Chapter 29. Jackson Oz, Columbia University, Chloe said, to my great irritation. I felt my face redden. I thought I knew all the names from Columbia. Do you know, she put her thin finger to thin lips and her eyes turned up, trying to think of a name. Michael Schrift? Mike was my advisor, I said. Oh, so you are a student? Chloe said. I liked her accent. This woman somehow made being confused sexy. Well, actually, I dropped out, I said. She gave me a cockeyed glance, the needle of her WTF-ometer twitching. You dropped out? Let me guess. You have a blog. Yeah, I said, brightening. Do you read my blog? No, she said, taking another sip from the champagne bottle. It was just a guess, but I will now, since you saved my life. I didn't like the faint note of sarcasm in her voice. When things aren't going your way, change the conversation. What was your population study about? Over the last few years, there has been a big change in some migratory bird populations, Chloe said as she shifted the bottle to her other hand and looked at the label. Changing very rapidly. Why? We don't know why. So you're saying what? I said. Birds are dying? No, Chloe said, picking at the foil on the bottle with her thumbnail. It's just the opposite. Bird populations are increasing at incredible rates, exponential. It is very, very strange. I thought about it. Like frogs, birds are often an indicator species. Animals whose population stability is a good measure of the stability of an ecosystem. Changes in the environment affect them quickly. Did this have something to do with HAC? I wondered. Tree nesters, I said, raising an eyebrow. Yes, and shrub and ground dwellers as well, she said. The phenomena are so unprecedented that many of the faculty in Paris refuse to believe it. That's why my colleagues and I came here, to gather data. I think something very, very wrong is happening to the environment. So do I said, talking fast now and getting excited. It's not just the birds. There's been a massive outbreak of animal attacks on human beings over the last 3 years. The lions that killed your friends and mine, that wasn't just an isolated incident. Human beings are being increasingly attacked by animals. There's something that's gone completely haywire with the lions in this area and other species too. I think there's something badly wrong with the environment that's changing their behavior. I rooted around in my backpack for the camera and set it on the bar. Look, this happened this afternoon. Her face betrayed shock as she watched the footage. Oh my God, that can't be right. I was so busy running my life, I hadn't noticed. The lions were all male. How can that be? That has never happened before. She shook her head at the screen and looked up at me with dinner plate eyes. You need to show this to Jackson. People must see this. They will, Chloe. we began to hear the low thrum of a plane engine in the distance. And please, call me Oz. And that's where we're going to stop. So I'm going to assume they get off the island, or I assume the plane picks them up, but we'll see in the next chapter. All right, you guys. Well, that was interesting. So now it's birds too. I'm curious to see what's going on. All right, you guys. Oh my gosh, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, subscribe to the channel, click the bell button, and you'll get an update every time a new video is posted. All right, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.